Hi, everybody. This is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms. Soon I'm going to be saying this is Lainey from the Hilltop Homeplace. I'm so excited to show you our property today. This is the 2 acres that we bought about 20 miles from our house. And we're out here today. It's sunny for a change. We have some tree trimmers here that are cleaning up our trees and giving them all haircuts and making everything look really good. I'm so excited. If you notice, you kind of go up a little hill, a little slope here going up our yard. We have a little hill in the front of our property. I love it. It's just like a hill. When you come off the road, it actually goes to a little mound hill on the front of our property. And where our house will be is actually behind that hill. So it's so cute. I love it. On the left side over here, I have the most beautiful little row of crepe myrtles. They're just gorgeous. You can just tell this is an old home place, and that's why I call it Hilltop Homeplace. It's on a real hill that goes up, up, up when you're driving, but then when you pull on our property, we have that hill. So I'm just going to call it Hilltop Homeplace. These crepe myrtles are called Natchez crepe myrtles, and my friend told me that they're Natchez crepe myrtles because she could see that the trunks were that rusty red color. And I had no idea. I had never really heard of Natchez crepe myrtles. But if you look close, the trunks of them are a red, rusty color, and they're just gorgeous. They put off a white flower, and they're just so healthy and so gorgeous. When you come up our driveway, it kind of splits off. You can go to the right towards where our parking and our house will be, or you can go to the left, and we actually have like an 18-wheeler storage container that has a lean-to built off of it. Very sturdy lean-to. I'm going to show you up close in a few minutes all about this. But at first I was kind of like, don't know if I'm going to keep that on our property. But the more I'm thinking about it, it's actually just a great storage shed. And we didn't have to spend money on lumber to build it. We didn't have to haul something in. I think it's going to come out great. The previous owners are keeping some items in it right now, and we have to give them a little bit. We agreed to give them a little bit to come get it because they live out of state. So in a little while, we're going to put our items in there. This is just a view to kind of show you that little gently sloping hill going up that I have at the front of our property. And I really just love it. Coming back down the little hill there. I'm going to keep going down the driveway, and I'm going to show you kind of where the home site's going to be. We have a great friend of ours today. It's his crew. They're here doing our trees. I'll introduce you a little bit more to Brad in just a moment. He's a good old guy. He's a good guy. But they're here trimming up our trees. This is our little driveway, and it's really just one of those old little dirt driveways where they brought in some rocks at some point and laid rocks. But as you can tell, the rocks have been kind of pushed in the dirt over the years. There's not a lot of rocks left. What I want to do, my goal, if we can afford it after we sell our house and get our mobile home and everything and get some other things done that we need to get done, I would love to lay some asphalt down this driveway. Come up the hill with it, go to the right as we're following, just like we're walking now, and lay some asphalt. I don't really care what we have as a driveway, but if we have an asphalt driveway and a little asphalt parking area back here where I'm walking now, I'm walking towards where I'd love to have like a big square of the asphalt. But if we could have that, my husband could get around our property so much better. He could come out there and walk if he wanted to and go towards the road and come back with his cane or his wheelchair, whatever he needs that day, with his electric wheelchair, whatever he has. But this is what excites us about this property. We have a pavilion on it. I call it a pavilion. My husband just calls it a carport. But it looks like a pavilion that would have been like at a state park or something to camp under. It's just so well made. It's all made out of metal. It's got cemented poles on the edges. The poles are in cement. It's so sturdy and so well made. And I just love it. And it fits 2 cars under it. So we're going to pour that asphalt or do our driveway, however, to where we can turn in with 2 vehicles. I'll tell you what else loves this carport. are wasp nests. We had about 4 of those wasp nests under this carport when we came up here and started coming up to this property. But we killed the wasp, but we've got to get rid of the wasp nest. What I'd like to do is when we do bring our mobile home in, which it will be sitting just to the side of this pavilion towards that little porch thing you see there. And I would love to have a ramp built right there for my husband. A ramp coming from the mobile home to that concrete pad there that's under the pavilion. I would love to have a ramp coming off of the mobile home that lands right on that concrete. And that will help him so much to be able to come out of the house and go straight to concrete where he can have steady footing. He really doesn't have good steady footing on dirt or rocks. Now, we are so fortunate because the land we bought used to have a mobile home on it, a double wide. And we have these concrete little foundation pads. They're center to center. There are 8 feet centers on these, and it goes 64 feet long. So a 64-foot trailer was probably on this property. And it's such a blessing. I mean, when we bring our mobile home out here, I don't really have to do anything. They'll already have these pads that this is what the people that install your mobile home, they'll put the blocks and the levels and everything onto these concrete pads and underneath your trailer to level it all up. And it's just so much better than sitting that trailer straight onto dirt where it'll shift later and your doors won't open right and it'll just make your mobile home uneven. Along the driveway, I have some of the most little beautiful trees. That's how I know this is a home place as well. I have some pear trees. I have 2 that look like this. They're just beautiful, beautiful pear trees. And I hope, I've never been great with trees, but I'm just hoping since these are established that I can really keep them going and keep them healthy. I also have just lots of little trees and bushes here, there, and yonder. There's azaleas like this one. And then I have several different gardenia bushes like that one there. So a lot of these little ones, like these little oaks that are kind of just sprouting up, we're going to take those down today. We're just going to take them down. They just kind of sprouted out of some azalea bushes, and we really kind of want to open that area a little bit. It's very hard to see where our house is going to be from the road because of all of these azaleas that have overgrown. Now, this is a pear tree that doesn't look that great. It must be very, very old. It's basically held up by 2x4s. They're along the base of it, and they're all up in the tree, and it must be just stabilizing it. That being said, when we bought this property, when we first looked at it and put a bid on it, that tree had pears on it, and the other 2 that are beautiful, the other 2 beautiful trees, didn't have any pears on them. This tree was loaded with pears. And they're gone now. I don't know if they fell off or just rotted, but I know all of a sudden they were gone, and I'm thinking maybe squirrels ate them. These big azaleas, they're beautiful when they bloom, but we're going to have to cut them back because I can't see the road. I can't see a car. We're not going to cut them down. We're just going to trim them back low, and they'll still sprout out green leaves even though you trim them back low. And they'll grow back later, but we'll have to kind of stay on top of it. Here's that other beautiful pear tree that's along our driveway. I just can't say enough about these pear trees. They're just gorgeous. I probably bought the property because of the pear trees, if you want to be honest. I probably bought the property because of the pear trees. It's not that I love pears that much. It's just that I was so excited to get fruit trees, and these pear trees were gorgeous. More azaleas. This place is just... It's just so peaceful when we're up here. It's just so peaceful. I just can't say that enough. My husband and I just drive up here, even if it's raining, even if we can't get out of the car. And we just come on the property and we just sit and look and talk. And we're just so ready. We're so ready to get up here. We've got to get this house sold and get a closing done on it, but we are so ready. They're going to be trimming a lot of the limbs. You see all these limbs just hanging over our pavilion? They're hanging over the area where we'd be parking cars. They're just all over the place. A lot of them We're hanging over the area where our mobile home would be. And that's what they're doing here today. That's what Brad and his crew are here today to take care of. And these two little trees here, these two little trees that are right by the pavilion are actually going to be cut down. I hate to cut trees down and get rid of them, but these two are young oak trees, and I just don't want them to be right by the corner of my house. So we are going to cut them out today. They're going to be gone. But believe me, there's enough big trees around the property to, we're not really going to miss them that much, I don't think. And I'll have to get rid of the stumps and things a little bit later, but I think we can handle that. Coming back over here to the left side of our property, this is just past those crepe myrtles, and it's going to that back corner where we had that 18-wheeler container with the lean-to shed. Now, I thought when I first came out here for the first couple of times, I thought that shed was just built out of wood. And I thought it might be rickety, and I just wasn't sure about it at all. But I was shocked to realize when I really got to looking that it's made out of metal. It's made out of metal I-beams that are all welded, and it's great. It is just going to be such a blessing and just a godsend for us because it's just so constructed so good. It's so useful. You can park equipment under it. We're going to probably build our dog pen under that, partially under that, so that they'll have good cover. It's got these Crisso poles that hold it up at each end and in the middle. But they're made out of Crisso, so they're fine to do that. And then it's got the metal beams, and they sit on top of the 18-wheeler container, but they sit in such a way that they brace themselves there. So it's just great. It's just perfect. We're going to just be able to park things under here, and it's just going to come in handy. The previous owners left some items. They left some junk. I don't think they're going to want it, but we're not going to touch it until we see what they come and get when they come and get their items out of the container. Then after that, we'll probably just burn it. But they left a bunch of T-posts. If they don't want those, I'll be glad to be the new owner of those. We'll have to just see whether they take them with them when they come. But I can always use T-posts for my garden. Going to the back here, we have a little gate. We don't own the property on the other side of that fence. A neighbor does, and he has a pond down at the bottom of the hill, and he's told us that our son's welcome to go fish down there if he wants to, so that might be fun. And this is actually my backyard. This trees and this little dappled sunlight is my backyard. That's where the trailer's going to be. That's where the mobile home will be. That's the pavilion over there. But if I'm washing dishes in the kitchen, if it's on the back of the trailer and all, this is what I'm going to be looking at. So beautiful. I've had this full sunlight, no tree environment for so long that I'm just very excited about trees. And other people might be so used to them, but I'm very excited. That's a little burn pile that the guys are going to pick up. So this is a view from the back corner of our property towards the pavilion. This is the opposite corner from that container. And it's just peaceful. To me, it's just peaceful. I'm so grateful. Richard's grateful. We are so happy. We have a little buddy in the pasture next to us. He's always kind of near our fence and hanging out. And there doesn't appear to be any other horses. It's just him. But he seems sweet. He seems like a good little horse. And I know my grandson is going to love having him in that pasture next to us. He's probably just going to go gravitate over there every time he comes over. So I think it's very, very sweet. The tree trimming service that's here today is run by a very special friend of ours, Brad Olivier. He works for Mr. D's Tree Service. That's Brad right there. And he has done a great job today. He and my oldest son, Ricky, were buds. They were best friends. They grew up together. They hunted together, hung out together. And he's just very special to us. And he's working for a company called Mr. D's Tree Service that serves the greater Baton Rouge area. And I'm telling you what, they're fantastic. They have just run like a well-oiled machine today. They cut, they pick up with the grapple. Next thing you know, it's in the wood chipper. And they've been coming behind themselves, and they rake and clean up. And They're just constantly wanting to know, what else do I need? What else do I need? Brad just constantly comes over to me, Miss Laney, we're doing this, this, and this, but what else do you want? Just show me what else you want. And we couldn't get that kind of service from people we don't know. We just appreciate so much how hard they're working for us here today. They got out here at 7 this morning, and I think they're going to work till 3 if the rain can hold off. It's starting to get a little cloudy. But I think if they can get a full day in, this place is going to look fantastic. It's been interesting to watch how they work, and they are really putting an effort in to clearing out a lot of these limbs that could potentially endanger our mobile home when we bring it in. So I have been very happy with the results. Things like that coming down. I'll always be a little bit scared of living around trees, but if they could thin these things out, that'll help me a lot. They're mostly focusing on the area around where our mobile home will be, but they've also just asked me, what do we need done? And I've been telling them, like up front, that tree by the road, it had just branches hanging down that had broke off but never really fell on the ground. And so they run up there and they just have been trimming every little tree that I need them to do. Now, they're not taking down big trees. They're just doing a lot of trim work for me today. But I appreciate it, and it's just making the place just come together. Along the road, up near the very front of our property, there was about 4 sago palms that were planted. They were spaced out probably 50, 75 feet apart, but they were all along the front of our property. And I just did not want to keep them. They just didn't look that great. They looked maybe pretty aged. And so I had them take them out too. So they grab those. They can't put those through their wood chipper because of just the structure of the plant. I think it would clog the wood chipper. So they put them back here and we're going to burn them off later. But that was a big help. Really cleaned up the front of our property near the road. Odd little thing to throw in here, but could any of you fellas that watch my videos tell me what in the world is living under this tree? Luckily, it's up near the road. It's not right by where our home will be, but definitely something dug up under this tree and stays there. So if anybody could give me an idea of what in the world's living on my property, I sure would appreciate it. Just let me know. Look at this. First pile of my wood chips. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I have never in my life had something like this for my garden, on my property. Oh my goodness. That book I reviewed the other day, Will Bonsal's book about radical gardening, this was his dream here. This is what he spent a lot of his time doing. He's chipping up wood from the forest and from his property to use on his gardens. And I've already said I'm going to get that book out again and really study up on all of that. Because while I enjoyed reading it before, I didn't have this kind of thing. And now I think Brad told me I'm going to have about 2 piles this size. So I really kind of want to know what I'm doing though. So I'm going to study it and I'm going to learn all about it. Any suggestions that anybody has, please let me know. Please let me know how you use your wood chip piles. If you have a delivery service that brings you piles, please let me know what you do with it and how you best use it. Just on your paths, or do you use it all in your garden around your plants for mulch? Just kind of let me know how you use it, and I would certainly appreciate that. Well, they're about to wrap up. There's some thunder in the distance and some rain coming, and they're putting the hustle on so they can kind of finish and wrap up and get out of here. But I can't tell you how good this looks after their job. They did a wonderful job. It just makes me feel so much more confident about putting a mobile home here and having some of those limbs gone. It's really made the difference. Thank you for watching. This is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms and Hilltop Homeplace. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.